Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name's Snow and I'm planning to thru hike the Appalachian Trail for 2022 with my partner Snake Farm, who is a big bearded mountain man, and we're going to talk about the differences between Hyperlite, Osprey, which one maybe is better for you, and which one I'm going to take on the Appalachian Trail for this coming year, 2022. I've already hiked the Pacific Crest Trail, I've hiked the Camino del Norte, which is in Spain, and just this past year I finished the Arizona Trail for my second attempt. So these packs are in no way new. We've actually used them before. They're very well loved and used. So today we're specifically talking about Hyperlite's pack. This is going to be the Southwest 3400 and Osprey Expo's 58 liter pack. We're going to just go over some details about the pack specifically, and then I'm going to tell you a bit about my experience using different packs before this, which ones I've had experience with, what I've used, and also my pros and cons of these both backpacks, and just give you a little bit more information, and then specifically which pack I'm going to be using on the Appalachian Trail. So I'll just go over briefly about which packs I've used before. So my first hike was in 2016, and this was the Pacific Crest Trail. If you don't know, I'm originally from Southern California. I wasn't born there, but I've lived there for a handful of years, so it's pretty much home. My parents still live in Southern California. I believe they're about like an hour and a half from the border, so it was great to have that support because honestly I had no idea what I was doing. The only backpacking I really had done was backpack traveling, and that's actually the pack that I used. It was really heavy, it was not made of like waterproof material, and I just had no idea what I was doing, but I had a very limited budget. For those who don't know, I was also a Peace Corps volunteer. I did that from 2013 to 2015. And once you finish doing Peace Corps, you get a readjustment allowance is what they call. And so I used the rest of the money I had from that after traveling, and I used that for the Pacific Crest Trail. So I really didn't have that much money, and I wanted to kind of use what I had. So this backpack, I'll try and like get some pictures if I have them, but it definitely was not like a ultralight hiking backpack, but I think that's something that I would kind of like to explore a little bit more on my channel. Is you really don't need to have like the latest and greatest model or the most ultralight, because as long as you're listening to your body and you're trying to go at your own speed, your body's going to adjust to that weight that you're going to bring. And I by no means am a very ultralight hiker. I like to have my certain luxury things, I like to have my comfort items, and more important than that, I think it has a bit more character when you bring things that maybe are not like the best number one thing. And this isn't knocking those brands because they're great for a reason. And if you really are trying to get ultralight, it is going to help your hiking immensely. It's just going to be a lot easier. But I think it's more fun to see people kind of use what they have. It has a bit more character. It makes them stand out a little bit as opposed to just seeing all the same like Z packs that people are using, or Hyperlite bags, or something, or like all like Big Agnes things, or it just, I like the diversity of it overall. So that was my first pack that I used. I ended up using a basic Osprey. I can't remember the exact model, but it's like pretty much one of the basic ones that you get from REI. It's like a very starter pack one. The Exos is a newer version of Osprey, and I think it's more suited for those trying to be ultralight, and I really like the features more. But anyway, I used that for my thru hike of the Arizona Trail in 2019, and it was like a fine enough pack. It's definitely not ultralight, but I like how much stuff that you can fit in there. So it was okay overall. It's definitely a good starter pack, and I would recommend it for those who maybe are not quite into thru hiking but definitely want to get into backpacking, just because the price range and the durability of them are really great. For my thru hike in 2021, which was just last year, the Arizona Trail, if you want to check out any of those videos, I have a whole playlist on my YouTube, and it's a great trail. I really can't recommend it enough, and it's great, especially it's 800 miles all the way through Arizona. You go through 2 national parks, Saguaro and the Grand Canyon. Absolutely stunning, and it's great if you don't have as much time to do a full thru hike of 5 months. This one takes about anywhere between, I would say, 6 weeks and 8 weeks, depending on your speed and how much time you want to take. And it's nice because it's on a shoulder season, which means it's earlier during the spring that you can leave and do that. So sometimes people will go get that experience and then go do a longer trail if they have the time, just to test out their gear and really get their trail legs so they're ready to go and hit the trail hard. So during that time, we had acquired a Hyperlite bag, and this is the one that I'm going to be reviewing. My boyfriend, Snake Farm, ended up getting this in a garage sale at REI. It was very like serendipitous. We were in New Hampshire at the time, and we ended up going to an area that just opened. We wanted to rent some snowshoes because at this time I didn't have snowshoes, and they ended up having their garage sale that same day. So we ended up getting in line and we got some great deals. It was amazing. They had one Hyperlite bag, which I didn't really know that REI sold. They actually sell them online very sporadically, and he was able to get this one for about half off. I'm pretty sure that somebody on the AT had used it and they had returned it because there was some kind of like patch. And I think they were saying that it maybe like wasn't waterproof, which maybe if you add the patch, it interferes with that material and water can like sink in. But it's been a great pack overall for us, and we have really enjoyed it, and just getting it like already half off was amazing. It's still got a lot of life in it, and we've been using it ever since. So in 2021, that was my first time using the Hyperlite bag, and I really enjoyed it. It was obviously very light, and it's just like aesthetically very pleasing. It's very like simplistic lines and lightweight, waterproof. Really liked it. Since I have returned, I've been wondering about these two bags, so Hyperlite and also Osprey. These are two packs that we've already had in our possession, and I do believe the Osprey Expo, it is not sold anymore, but there are packs very much like it that REI still sells. Those are kind of my 3 experiences. All right, so first let's talk more about the features. This is the Hyperlite Mountain Gear Southwest 3400. It is a 55-liter pack. It's 100% waterproof. It has a roll-down top, which also is really nice because you can have it up at 55 liters, or you can also size it down so it could be a bit smaller. It comes in at 2 pounds and 2.9 ounces. The material is Dyneema, which is waterproof and water resistant. It does not have a bit of space in the back, so your backs are going to be flush to the material, which can cause kind of a sweaty back, but it's a very simplistic design. Outside, it does have a larger pocket where you can put some things, and this specific model is great because it's more durable, so it's better with like rocks and things, so maybe you're not trying to dry out certain clothes. There is a side pocket that is pretty stretchy and you can fit quite a bit of things, and the price is about $355 online from REI or from Hyperlite.com, and if you want the black model, it's another $20 more. This one is very dirty, obviously, because it has been used quite a bit, but it's still in great shape overall. Definitely good for another thru hike, or hopefully it'll survive another thru hike. And now we're going to talk a little bit more about Osprey Expo. So usually I get a lot of people or a lot of friends when they know that I've done quite a bit of backpacking and I've been into that. They ask me gear recommendations, or, you know, how do I get started? Which I think is the bigger thing. I do recommend Osprey. I think it's a great starter backpack and just a way to like get your feet wet without breaking the bank. I don't know, I just think you don't need to make quite a huge investment if you're just trying to get started and you're just trying to get out there. So like this is definitely a better, I think, bang for your buck. What I looked at, it comes in about like $220. Like I mentioned before, this pack specifically is not being made anymore, I believe, but there are quite a few that Osprey makes that are very similar to this one. So this is a 58-liter pack. It's very expandable. The nice thing about this pack is it's lightweight, but it also has full features. It comes in at about 2 pounds, 8 ounces, which is still pretty light. Like I mentioned before, it's about $220, give or take. This specific model is not being made anymore, but they're very similar and they just keep getting better and better. The nice thing about this pack is it has a suspension system. So that's the part right at the back. It provides a little bit of air. Your pack isn't flush on your back, so it gives a little bit more of breathability, and it still keeps it pretty lightweight overall. It's good for airflow, but it also is very secure at the same time. It's made with an aluminum frame for stability and also support, which keeps the weight down, and the structure is still pretty good. It has a floating lid for a top, which means that you can remove it. That's where you're going to put everything in. You don't have like a side pocket. Same with the Hyperlite. There's no second zipper for a sleeping bag at the bottom. So it minimizes on the zippers and it minimizes on the weight. And for this pack specifically, there are quite a bit of straps, a little area where you can keep your sunglasses or like a knife or like cheese or something. All right, and those are a little bit of like the details of the packs. Let me bring them closer to me. So Some things that I do really like about the Hyperlite bag overall is it's very sleek. They make a great product, especially when it can be waterproof, and that's going to be a key for like the AT. Usually what I'll do is keep another plastic bag or like a black grocery bag or trash bag, I mean, inside, just to give that extra protection if I don't have like a pack cover, which I probably do need to get. So just like the streamline of this, it just visually looks beautiful overall. It's very like clean, and if you want to be ultralight, I think obviously this is like one of the lighter packs. I think Z-Pack does make a lighter pack overall, but I think for the structure it holds up very nicely. I love this outside pocket. I don't love how it doesn't expand all that much, so I'll try to cram as much stuff as I can at the very bottom, and then when I try to add things in here, it's just a little bit stiffer. And like I said, I'm not super ultralight, so I do have a ton of luxury items, and so I don't love that about it. The side pockets are pretty good for the most part. I usually do need to have like help unless I can like kind of reach in to get my water bottle, so it's not the most ideal. It's great that you can expand it up to 55 liters, and then also you can like shrink it down too if you don't have as much stuff. So that's pretty great. They have a great system overall here too, which is usually where I keep my sleeping mat, just on top, and it's easy to secure. It looks very like clean lines is kind of what you're gonna get from this. I also love the little hip pockets. It's big enough for me to fit my iPhone and other snacks, my headphones, just a ton of things that I want easily accessible. So that's pretty great overall. I don't love how flush it is to my back because I get very sweaty, as most people do, but I mean, you're gonna sweat anyway regardless. So yeah, overall, I think it's a great pack. Money-wise, it's pretty expensive. So let's move over to the Osprey. So like I said before, this is a great starter pack, and this one specifically, they're trying to gear more towards like the ultralight, and they're getting better and better as things like go on. One of the things I do love about this pack is kind of it has airflow back here, so it gives you a little bit more, it gives you a better chance to, I guess, not sweat as much, or at least not have, you know, the weight or just that material on your back. This feels like much nicer because it's like mesh. I do not like the side pockets because they are not big enough for me to really fit anything. I mean, these are just little, you know, mouse holes. I can't really get that much stuff in there. But they do have a good option here with your water bottle, so you can stick it down here, or you can stick it to the side, or stick other things here, like snacks. I'll probably put my phone there, maybe the tripod as well too. I love how this pack does expand. It's very like stretchy over here, so I can fit much more things. And it has just a top open, or a top lid. So it expands pretty well, which is great. You just get like more space overall. One of the things I don't like about this pack so much is it's not as streamlined, it doesn't look as like clean, it's very bulky, and it's got a ton of these extra bobs and whistles, I guess, that you can add. I think this pack too, you can remove most of them if you want to. So these are just to like secure things. I'll probably keep these because I usually take like, well, I use my trekking poles, but I like to put my like tent poles or our tent poles in there and things. So it's not that bad. It just doesn't look as like streamlined overall, but it does fit very comfortably, and I feel very secure when I have this pack on as opposed to the Hyperlite. So those are just a couple things that I personally do like and don't like. And for the question of which pack I'm going to bring, it's going to end up being the Osprey. And the main reason why I chose this pack is because it's something that is available to me right now. I've used this before in just day hikes or overnight hikes. I have not used it yet on a thru hike, but I feel like it'll hold up pretty well. I like the way that it fits on me. Usually when I start doing a thru hike, what I experienced on the Arizona Trail is that I get quite a bit of soreness, or like a bit of a rash on my upper hip where it is cinched. And I think that's just like the material. Your body does end up, you know, getting used to it, but it is one of the pains personally that I felt from the Hyperlite pack, or even sometimes on my shoulders just from the way that it sits. Part of that is the way that I pack my pack, you know, it's user error sometimes, but I did want to mention that as well. So this one sits a bit nicer. It's pretty lightweight, and I like how it can just fit so much more stuff in there, or maybe just kind of bulkier things, because I like to have what I like to have. And I think the most important thing from this video overall is that maybe you like the Hyperlite better, maybe you like the Osprey, maybe you're just kind of interested. But I think personally from the price point, I mean, this is a perfectly good pack. It's enough money, and I think a lot of people do buy the name brand, and I have definitely fallen into this before too. I want to look like I know what I'm doing. I want to have something that's going to work well, it's going to be very streamlined, and it's just going to look nice. I mean, that's why we buy certain clothes as well. It's obviously functionality, but a lot of it is just the physical, you know, brand of what it represents or how it looks. And so when we were preparing for the Appalachian Trail, I did think about buying a new Hyperlite bag. I was going to treat myself, but I mentioned this in a handful of other videos as well too, but one of the things I like about backpacking is I like the diversity of what people do bring and making what you already have work. This is not to say that these, you know, higher items or very desirable items or more expensive items like a pack, a tent, or sleeping bag are not worth it. However, if I already have something in my possession that is just as good, the functionality is great, maybe it's not quite what I want it to look like, it doesn't matter. I should still take that pack and save that money overall. You know, am I going to spend another $450 just to get a new pack when that's almost like 2 weeks on trail? So I'm really trying to remind myself that I need to reuse a lot of the gear that I have, and also I think it's a great example of just use what you have. A lot of times things will work, and you don't know if they're going to work until you actually go and try them. So go for an overnight backpacking trip, go for like a week-long or a 2-day or something, and see if that actually is going to work for you. You don't have to have the latest and greatest things. The most important thing is getting out there, using what you have. So this is going to be my, I guess, review and also what pack I'm going to take on the Appalachian Trail. If you're interested in following along, I have a ton of training videos, and we are hoping to start in a few months. So I'm really excited for that, and we'd love to have you here. So thanks so much for watching, and good luck on your next adventure. Bye.